Hello everyone, welcome back to some more From the Depths. Sorry about the inconsistent video uploading over the past couple of days. It's been tremendously hot in here. I'm melting, just... You can hear my fan in the background. It's saving my life right now, I swear to God. Anyway, I have been able to put some more work in today, a couple of hours in fact. And we now have a bunch of secondary guns all over the place. We've got 6 AA guns on the deck over here. We still have these ugly turrets that I'm gonna replace at some point. I was thinking to myself, well, I could spend the entire afternoon trying to remodel those 2 turrets and then add more on the back. Or I can finish making all the secondary guns and add a bunch of turrets on here as well. So now we have a total of 10 turrets that can fire at airplanes and 20 hull mounted. So they can traverse like a turret, but they still have the wide firing arc. 20 secondary guns that can target enemy shipping. And I jumped off the wrong side of the bridge there, so excuse me while we quickly walk over to the firing computer over there with the temporary mainframe. We have 4 main guns, 20 hull mounted secondaries, 10 deck mounted secondaries that can fire wherever. And I actually have set these up in a third group rather than grouping them up with those 2. They have a separate AI telling them like, hey, you're supposed to target things that are at altitude. Whereas these guys, they're set to target bigger ships or planes. Depends really. They're just targeting a block count. They preferably don't look for altitude or speed or anything, so that'll be okay. The only thing I have noticed is that, well, we can walk over here to this one to perfectly demonstrate what the problem is. It does tend to want to fire through its friend over there, which does occasionally snap the barrel. Although when I'm actually trying to demonstrate it, it doesn't, which is... See, there we go, that does tend to happen. I'm not gonna bother with that. The only way to fix that would be adding a failsafe connected to the AI. It's been wonkily attached as is. Like, the local weapons controller is right here. There's only space over here for the wireless receiver. Otherwise, the failsafe would stick out over here or over there. So yeah, not great AI placement. It doesn't matter that much. It's only like small, like 1 meter barrel parts that break. These turrets, they're pretty okay. They're the same caliber as the smaller side-mounted secondaries. So these ones. 179mm gauge. It's okay. These are actually derived of the turret that I built up here in the first place, and which then inspired those hull mounted secondaries. And then the upscaled version of them, I have put some recoil compensators on there so that they don't rock the ship as much, especially when we add like 20 guns on the side. You know, that's gonna give an impact. These guns actually have a range of 11.5 kilometers, wow. The small AA guns only have 1500. I'm probably going to tune the AI at some point, although right now we're still in testing phase, so I figured why not do a bunch of firing exercises this episode. For example, we're gonna get ourselves a bunch of Drake lights flying in from over there. We will have the main guns trying to help us out. And you can see that these small deck-mounted AA guns don't actually have... Well, I mean, the Drake lights are coming close now, so that does help. But yeah, we're not going too heavily on AA focus this time. Of course, those God, I don't want to call them tertiary guns or anything, but yeah, the secondary guns of higher caliber, they still pack a mean punch. They can blow a Drake light out of the air just whenever. Just one hit with the armor-piercing high explosive shell. They'll wreck their day. See, there we go. Just one blast and they're gone. Which is nice. Then we've also got the flak heads going off. I do feel like it adds a bit to the ship to have some AA guns with some flak in there. I might add a couple more actually, depending on whether or not the final product of those turrets ends up being ginormous or not. Oh, there we go. A nice main battery hit takes out that Drake light. We are doing some minor damage on this guy with the flak warheads. It's nothing major, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it's gonna be. And it gets taken out. So, that is the first wave of enemy airplanes coming to assault us. Let's send some... Let's go for some Onyx Watch ships now. Let's get a Buttress, a Behemoth, and an Ironclad. Now we're talking. So what I want to do is quickly get inside and steer the ship onto its side so that we can use all our secondary guns instead of just having a couple of them. I do like how these are a bit more... Well, I do like how we actually have some turrets so that we can fire at a bit more extreme angles like this. Right, here we go. You can see the recoil is just knocking us back. And we are taking out our own barrels here quite a bit. But that's just something we're gonna have to accept, I suppose. It's not too bad. I mean, it is quite unfortunate that when the guns turn, the hitbox basically stays in the same place. I feel like that should be addressed at some point, if it can be addressed, of course. It might very well be that it's just a thing that's gonna happen. You know, in that case, fair enough. But I mean, we're not doing too badly here. We are tearing stuff up over here on all three ships. They have taken, you know, they've taken hits. They've all taken hits. You know, it's not the worst thing to happen. We've got some targeting over there, some over there. So what's basically happening over here, if the guns can't reach this guy, but they can target that guy instead, they'll go for him. They've got smart trackers assigned and everything. So we are trying to use our armament as efficiently as we can. And we are taking on a bunch of Onyx Watch ships. Now, admittedly, they are smaller ships, but just imagine. We haven't added all the main guns on this yet. It's going to get even more powerful. And again, I do notice that it's still draining the batteries, and it's gulping ammo like nobody's business. We might have to keep some ammo producers on here. That might not be the worst idea ever. And although it would take resources away from us, it would definitely not hurt to have more ammo to fire. Because as it stands, our main guns are going to run out of ammo at some point. The secondary guns have no problem, as you can see, to keep themselves fed with ammo. But I don't like how we run out of ammo. That does not seem like a good idea. Not at all. So how's the damage looking? Well, we're definitely winning the fight. We have neutralized most of their cannons at this point. And we haven't really taken too much damage in return. We're just hitting this ironclad over and over. Now the reason why I'm actually targeting the Onyx Watch is because they are more heavily armored than the Deepwater Guard, etc. Deepwater Guard is mainly just wood. And I don't want to test against the Lightning Hoods because they are going to be the people that we're going to be fighting next. And I don't know, it would feel like we'd be getting a slight unfair advantage if we could prepare ourselves for the Lightning Hoods like that. And I mean, in Season 1 we already fought the Onyx Watch. We know what they're capable of. Or at least what some of their ships are capable of. We haven't... Like, we mainly fought the harder opponents, like the Bulwark, etc. We didn't face many... I didn't see the Ironclad, for example. Well, that's some nice main gun explosions over there. They are definitely quite powerful, even if they're not cram shells. They're also a hell of a lot more accurate, which is also nice. You know. But yeah, we are doing quite well. I think we've taken out the small little buttress. There we go, yeah. And these guys are in no shape or form to resist, as it stands. So that is quite nice. Now these secondary guns are basically designed for 1 to 2 kilometer range fighting. If they get too close, their trajectory might go through the water, causing the shell to basically either bounce off the water and possibly miss the target, or they sink. And you don't want your shells to sink before they hit the enemy. So yeah, you can see over here a lot of skipping is happening right now because, well, he is quite deep in the water, I'm not gonna lie. What we might want to consider doing is facing him and launching the torpedoes. Because yes, we still have torpedoes on this, of course. They might not be as prominent, but they're definitely a thing to keep in mind. I might actually add a couple more torpedo launchers on the side. On like a swivel, on like a turret. Who knows? I mean, German battleships had them in the Second World War. And it wouldn't hurt to have more weapons, right? Totally wouldn't be insane or anything. Now, the downside is, of course, that we're going to be slowly demolishing our secondary armament again. But, I mean, at this point, that's bound to happen. Let's quick... You know what? We have infinite resources. I'm pretty sure we can put a fire control terminal over here. Okay, so apparently the torpedoes have been fired. That's great. Would have been a shame if they weren't being used. But yeah, it is of course hard to see that when you're just trying to see all the guns fire. I am glad that they're quite efficient. It didn't seem to be such a great idea. It made it look more like a rowboat, but I gotta say, being packed with guns like this does have its charm. It does seem like it might be effective in the long range. Now we're getting up close to this behemoth, and we're just gunning it down. We have some good armor-penetrating shells, as demonstrated on the Onyx Watch, which are generally one of the more heavily armored people that you can encounter in the game. So, you know, I definitely feel like this is a nice show, and we can take them on. We're on equal footing, if not better. Now, depending on how much volume we take up with their dreadnought, we might be able to have them fight in pairs. Otherwise, we might pair them up with a laser destroyer who's going to keep his distance. Who knows? I'm also going to tune the AI to... At some point, we will teach it to attack in like 40... maybe 50-degree angles, so that we don't damage the secondary armament too much, while still trying to get all our guns to bear. Just look at this. We are hammering this guy. I am very pleased to see this, because I did spend like 4, maybe 5 hours today, just working on the guns, etc. Now for a slightly more off-topic mention, I have been thinking about some games that I'd maybe like to cover in the future. Aside from, of course, From the Depths. We're not gonna cancel From the Depths anytime soon. I wanna finish the quest for Nether at least once. So it might take months, or even the rest of the year, but I will finish From the Depths. As a personal challenge. But aside from things like that, I was thinking about maybe playing Factorio at some point. Factorio seems like a cool game. And this guy is finally below 80% HP and sinking. He is in fact on 61% and has been taking a hell of a beating all day. He isn't very long for this world. Unfortunately, we have taken some battle damage, mostly from our own shells, I think. Although I don't think we were to blame for demolishing this turret. I do have fail saves on these guys. Might have to look closer at them. So yeah, could have gone worse, but overall, a nice test of our capabilities. But yeah, games I'd like to cover in the future. Feel free to leave suggestions down below for games you'd like to see. I mean, like I said, From the Depths is not going anywhere. It might sometimes have some trouble showing up, as I either... well, let's just... again, like I've said before, From the Depths does take a lot of time to record. And if I have a very particular bad day or anything, there might not be From the Depths, like you've seen the past couple of days again with the heat. It should be cooling down in the upcoming few days, and I am glad that I've managed to get some progress on the dreadnought again today. I think once we start fighting the lightning hoods, that'll be easier to get some episodes out and more consistent, which will be nice for everyone involved. But as I said, I'm also trying to look around, play some games for fun, of course. I mean, that's still a thing, of course. Having fun. And don't worry, I'm having plenty of fun on my own playing other games, like Warframe, etc. But yeah, I'm also going to be looking into more games to possibly cover on the channel. I might take a look at This Is the Police. That's going to release soon. It's definitely a heavy game, but it seemed interesting from a management point of view. Of course, there's going to be Hearts of Iron 4 as Poland. perhaps maybe Factorio, like I said. We're going to be continuing RimWorld as well, despite that series not being as popular, which is a shame because I really enjoy playing RimWorld. I enjoy modding it as well, if I find the time for it, of course. But yeah, like I said, leave your suggestions down below. I might even do some From the Depths building streams again at some point. Who knows? But I'm not going to make any promises on that front, as you can probably imagine. I'd hate to make promises to not be able to follow them up at some point. But yeah, we are chewing up this ironclad quite nicely. I think we'll stop right here. Now I think we might have actually ran out of ammo. Is that a thing that happened? Yep. All our guns are dry. Or at least a lot of them are. That's a challenge and a half, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of ammo in here. What I think I might do is we're gonna go over here quickly. Get us some processed resources and ammunition processors. Make me more. Come on. Then we're gonna make some more over here. That sounded like a big explosion. Yep, we've got the main guns firing again. Now hopefully those ammo processors should be able to make a bunch of metal, a bunch of ammo at some point. We're gonna add some small metal storages above here because I think that's been holding us back. Like they need actual metal in the storage before they can actually build the ammo. I mean, that's fine, of course. And it does seem to be helping now, which is good. We definitely need to keep this up in sustained battles, etc. Yeah, there we go. He's falling apart again. 65%. I do love the overwhelming weight of firepower. That really screams dreadnought to me. Just like with the good old battleship that I never ever gave a name. I am so bad at names. That's why I don't give it a name. I feel better just saying, yeah, this is my generic battleship, instead of just saying, this is the HMS something rather. Yeah, I'm weird like that. Anyway, I'm gonna have to tinker a lot with like the weapons. Like for example, these minor AA guns. I'm gonna have to tell them specifically, like, hey, you are using a shell that is not effective beyond 1500 meters. So don't engage targets beyond 1500 meters, which is actually a thing you can do. If we go down over here, press Q, you can set minimum range to engage, maximum range to engage. So we'd set it at 1500. Altitude, just ignore anything below the sea. Because you don't need to fire at submarines when you're an AA gun. I don't think you have the... don't even think he has the arc of fire, but, you know, that's something to keep in mind regardless. And for example, for these guns, we want to tell them, yo, don't bother aiming at something that is too high. They can't anyway, but it's nice to keep in mind. Now, the one reason why I'm not going with 3x3 meter Omni mantlets here, is because I don't think they would look nice. Yep, that's it. I am very petty like that. Anyway, guys, I'm running into some time issues again, so I'm gonna get this episode done, and then rendered, uploaded, etc. all before my RimWorld stream is about to start later today. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this sort of progress report and gunnery practice. If you enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like down below and leave a comment down below if you have anything to say, anything at all. If it's a fun comment, I'll probably respond. If you want to see more from the depths, why not subscribe? It's a pretty fun series. Anyway, until next time, have a good one, folks.